Hello, YouTube. All right, I am getting ready to leave Walmart. Actually, I am not getting ready. I am leaving Walmart right now. Just stopped by here to pick up some food. Actually, junk food. Sodas, chips, some cheap headphones, $1 headphones, because I had bought the $1 headphones from Dollar Tree, and they didn't work very long, like less than a day. So I decided to come to Walmart to try to pick up some $5 headphones, but saw they had $1 headphones here and bought those. So we'll see how long the $1 Walmart headphones work. But several things. I've been trying to avoid Walmart since living in the RV because I don't have to, use the Walmart resources like I did when I was in the van. So I only come to Walmart like maybe once every 2 weeks if possible. I try not to come here more than once a week, but preferably once every 2 or 3 weeks now because of just trying to avoid people. But I've noticed Walmart is trying to get back to normal. It's like really messed up because Florida is the hot spot right now, one of the hot spots for coronavirus infections and deaths, because the governor here has opened up the schools and everything, and people are getting infected left and right. The numbers are like still staggeringly climbing, but Florida's acting like it's oblivious. It's like people are dropping left and right, getting sick and dying. I mean, I'm laughing about it because I don't know what else I can do about it, but people are literally dying, okay, every day. The numbers are like huge. But the state as a whole, because of the governor's mandate, is acting like everything is great, everything is fine. And we're not publishing numbers anymore. We're not letting anybody know the actual numbers of infections, where they're occurring. Like in the schools, when an infection occurs, they are shutting the school down, but they're not telling the numbers or letting people know what's going on. Let's just keep everyone in the dark. But that's what's going on right now in the state of Florida. I just left Walmart, and it's interesting because they opened everything back up. They are taking money again. Cash now, the American dollar bill has value. You can actually use George Washington to buy stuff again. The businesses are taking them again. They're no longer saying debit only, credit only, because I guess there must have been a huge backlash. But they're taking, and they're giving me money. Before, Walmart, when when this was going back, just about 3 months ago, when I was griping about cash, no cash for you, cash is worthless. They wouldn't take cash. Walmart and Little Caesars and all these places. I'm like, well, screw you. You don't want American dollars. You're not even an American company then. This is a federal, this is a legal tender for this country, and you won't accept it. So anyhow, they are taking cash. The lines are back to normal. The Walmarts here, or at least around where I am, have opened up all the doors. So it's no longer one way. Before they were only in one side and have the whole other door and whole other side closed off. So now they have both doors open. They removed the cattle. If you've been out at Walmart, then they have this cattle maze. It's like going to Disney or something. It's like going to Walmart. It's like going to Disney. You got to stand in that cattle maze and make your way through it. But they've removed all that. Even though the state doesn't have a mask mandate for Florida, all the businesses are requiring masks, but they're not enforcing it. They're enforcing that you walk in with a mask. They're not enforcing how you wear it. Because if they try to enforce it, people are shooting and killing the enforcers, which is just somebody there saying, hey, excuse me, sir or ma'am, you need to wear a mask. So it's interesting because I was walking around Walmart and everybody had a mask, although some people were wearing it under their chin. Some people were wearing it like a bandana on their head. Some people were wearing it like this, so they can breathe better. Other people were wearing it under their chin like this, like an Amish beard. I'm looking at them all, I'm like, oh my goodness, I just shook my head. But I was like, okay, this is going to go on forever. It's like the country has the businesses have now mandated so they can open up mask wearing, even though the governor is saying you don't need masks, everything's fine, everything's okay, but we're not going to publish any numbers. I don't get this. But anyhow, so that's how things are at Walmart. I was able to pull out cash again. I can go to the bank of Walmart and use my debit card and pull out cash. Oh man, there is a loose dog. There's a loose dog here. Just, I don't know if you saw that. Well, I had the loose dog on the. It looks like a loose greyhound. No, not greyhound. Just a starving dog in the middle of the street, crossing the street. I don't know whose dog that is. I don't think I saw a collar on him. Anyhow, yeah, they've opened up all the, you know, how they normally have like only one side of the Walmart open, one door, instead of the whole store. The whole store is open now. I think the garden center might be open as well, so you can walk through the garden center side. So Walmart's trying to act like everything's normal other than the mask wearing. But I mean, they have people standing there to make sure that you have a mask. And if you go and you don't have a mask, I think they actually give you a mask. So I think these businesses are trying not to start up stuff. So, you know, they're like, well, if they're going to mandate masks, they should be providing masks. So when you show up without a mask, they give you a mask, and then they tell you got to put it on. I haven't seen anyone trying to, you know, I only see it on the media, on the news, but I haven't seen any witness in real life people saying no, and then starting up a fight. So everyone I've seen, like people who show up without a mask, when the Walmart employee approaches them and mask, they put it on. But like I said, I saw some people wearing the mask like earrings while they're at the register, and then some of them were there wearing them like earrings and coughing all over everybody. Things are back to normal. I don't know. I'm trying to stay away from public gatherings as much as possible in places like that, because even though there's there's no mandate other than mandatory for that store, but because they're not enforcing it, and I don't know what to say. You know, it's like these people, I can understand their complaint saying they can't breathe or whatever, or they're having a hard time breathing. So if you're wearing a mask and you're having a hard time breathing and you still have to go out and buy stuff, you know, what are you going to do? You're going to do what these people do, which is, but you're not really wearing a mask, you know? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, okay? All I know is that in some countries, like when they have the lockdowns and stuff like that, the people don't go out buying the food, okay? The government, because it was done from the government level. What the government did in foreign countries, in some countries, and I know because of the people who were there, this is what they tell me the government's doing. And we're talking countries that are poorer than the United States and how they responded. When they had a lockdown, nobody is allowed to go out at all. Like, you can't drive around, you can't go visit family. You got to stay in your house, you know, around your house. You can't even walk around your village. Okay, you got to stay in your house. And then what they do is the government was paying, I think, half of their bills, you know, like rent and everything else. And then you just couldn't pay the other because you weren't out working or whatever. And then I guess the plan will be eventually somehow make it up, or it's just written off for everybody. I don't know. But I know the government was going around with government trucks with food. So they were bringing toilet paper, foods, water, supplies for all the houses. They have like a ration of how many you get for your house, depending on how many people are living there or whatever, or how many households. But they would bring the trucks by, and they would drop them off at the houses, or set up an area where people came to get it. But I think they went to house door by door, by door, by door, by door. And that way, people weren't out walking around, and you didn't have the mask issue. In America, you know, everybody has It's like every time I talk about this with people, it's like everyone's like, well, it's very hard in this country because the people here feel they're individualistic. It's very me-centered. It's not like a group. It's not a cohesive unit. Even though we call ourselves the United States, the people here value individualism. They value the single unit. And when you have a crisis that can take out the whole group, you need to behave kind of like a group. But in America, it's very hard to do because the people say, well, I'm not going to do that. It's my right not to do that. You can't make me. And if you're going to make me, I'm going to fight to the death over a mask. But that's how people are here. And I don't know. I just think that this is going to go on forever in this country because it'll keep spreading. That's assuming it's real. If indeed it is real, which I do believe it is, because viruses and stuff are real, and we've had real dead people, family members. So this is going to be an ongoing thing in the United States. I don't think it's going to go away. Not until all those people who don't wear the mask are dead. But here's the thing. Some of those people who aren't wearing the mask, they're not going to die. They are resistant to it, because in nature, there are people who are resistant to it. And they may not die. They might end up being one of those people who are immune, like they're automatically immune. They have oh man, I'm glowing again. Why am I glowing? That's weird. Isn't that weird that I'm glowing? It's weird. There's no light or anything, and yet I was glowing. But anyhow, it's like certain people have immunity. I'm going to try to see if I can glow again. Okay, I'm back. I'm back at the glow spot. I was like backing up my car, and I started glowing again, which for some reason I glow sometimes. I don't know what's going on. I thought maybe it was the lighting. So I drove back to the spot where I was glowing, and it's not glowing. It's back to normal. So I don't know. It seems to glow when I say certain key words. Like some people may have built-in immunity. Okay, am I glowing? Anyhow, yeah, some people might be immune to it automatically, but just because they're immune to it doesn't mean it's not real. What it means is they're one of the ones who will survive this particular virus. But they could be spreading it to other people and killing the people who aren't immune to it. So that's what the big problem is. And when you have a country like America where everyone's like, well, you know what? You can't make me. I'm unique. I'm special. I don't have to follow that rule. And we're going to keep having that. But at the same time, I can understand those people going to shop at Walmart wearing the mask like this because they can't breathe because food is not being delivered to them. Although you say that services are available where they could order food online, like Walmart has food online that you can order. The problem is there's a surcharge. You got people who aren't working. I don't know if you heard in Florida, the governor wants to not do the, like Donald Trump signed an emergency order or whatever to try to do instead of $600 unemployment, they wanted to do $300 unemployment. But the government, the state of Florida government unemployment office would have to match 25% or something of that. So they would have to come up with like, I don't know, it was like $100 or something extra. Because Florida, see, they have to match like, okay, if the government, the federal government is giving $300, they expected the state of Florida to give $300. But the state of Florida, that's per week. But the state of Florida unemployment only pays $228 or something silly like that per week. You're expected to live off $228 per week unemployment. So the state would have to make up like $72 to bring it up to $300 so that you would get $600 total. Well, the governor said, well, that's too expensive for Florida. We can't pay an additional $72 per week. So let's not take the $300 extra that the federal government is allocating. We're just going to use that for something else. We're just going to pocket it, basically, you know, for me and my friends. Because I'm the governor, and I can do that in Florida. So that's what's happening right now. I'm like, holy schmoly. So you're not going to help the people, and you're going to hurt them even more. But not only that, when it was in effect, including the first time, a lot of people were being denied. So people tried to get unemployment in Florida, and the system kept kicking them out, and had a walking stick figure, and it kept crashing, and then they got denied, and then they would get partial payments, and then they wouldn't get the federal money, which all just disappeared. Florida was more than 1 month behind the nation, and then Florida didn't pay its people, the unemployed. So, you know, now we're on the second round. The Floridians are going to get zero. But not only that, they awarded the company that set up the broken unemployment system another $10 billion contract. The same company that created that broken system. So, I don't know. I'm going to stay out of that. But things are back to normal in Florida. Let me take a few minutes to look at your comments so I can address them, and then I'm going to sign out here. All right. Hello, Donovan. Hey, Kira, good to see you on here. Timothy, always nice to have you. And George. It's George. All right. Just looking through here. Just scrolling through. Tim says the price of beef is outrageous. I don't know if you have a thrifty store. Maybe because it's in California, because of all the fires and distribution chain might be broken right now. But in Florida, I just went to thrifty this weekend when I went to get my kid, and I bought a couple steaks and stuff. It wasn't too bad. I mean, it's, you know, for me, it's kind of expensive. Like if I buy a steak for $3 to $5, it's expensive for me. But, you know, I figured, well, I might as well. I want to treat myself nice. Because, you know, here's a little tip for you. Some of you look at Denoy and say, man, he says he doesn't have a lot of money, yet he's buying steak and eating steak and doing all these things, like taking his kid out to the Chinese restaurant and doing all these things that kind of cost money. And the reason I'm doing all that is, if anything else, coronavirus, COVID, has shown that you can die within 2 weeks of getting it. So one, tomorrow truly isn't promised anymore. But two, I'm combating depression and hopelessness. I'm trying to. So I think part of the key to trying to make it through this is here. You've got to protect this. You've got to not let yourself get depressed. Some of you are wondering what's been going on with the RV. It's been like stagnant. It's been sitting there because I've been depressed. You know, I've been overwhelmed with dealing with the different embassies, the different governments. I'm having to deal with governments that don't know what they're doing. They're all overwhelmed. The government's overwhelmed. The government is having a hard time functioning right now, regardless of whatever country. Some countries are further along on the process and a little bit more stable, but the USA right now is a hot mess. You know, they got an election year. There's a lot of animosity between different groups and stuff, and everything's become politicized. So when you're trying to do normal stuff that like get a passport or anything that requires the government, okay, retirement and things like that, it's a mess. So that's why, you know, I've had to change plans and kind of put things on hold because I'm waiting for some stability. I'm waiting for the government to stabilize so I can do stuff. But most people, if they're like me, don't like being in limbo. And sometimes when you're in limbo and you know there's going to be an end in sight, like you say, how long am I in limbo? And they say, oh, you're going to only be there a month or two. 2 months, 3 months, whatever. Then you psychologically set yourself for that so you can survive till that long. But when they say, we don't know, we really have no clue how long this is going to go on, then people get overwhelmed and become hopeless. So like right now, you know, there's a lot of mental fatigue going on with people everywhere, especially Americans. I say especially Americans because, like I said, my personal opinion, the United States is totally messed up right now. Just unbelievably messed up. So Not knowing what's going to happen next, not being able to prepare, not being able to deal with the government when you have an issue that you have to deal with the government, because you try to contact the government and they cannot respond because they are overwhelmed. So, and the state of Florida also, trying to deal with the state of Florida, it's like an impossibility. So what I try to do for myself, I try to eat Chinese buffet when I can afford it. I try to, this is bad. This is very bad, you know, but, and I've been buying like brand name soda, like Coke, Pepsi, Mountain Dew. It's all bad stuff. And, you know, I don't think it'll make it better, okay? Because, you know, you're eating stuff that's not healthy, that's going to end up hurting your health. But at the same time, I'm balancing the two. I'm balancing giving myself a little bit of a comfort in eating junk food, comfort food, versus just dealing with this overwhelming crisis that nobody seems to have any handle on. So I'm proceeding with tiny little baby steps right now towards my travel. Just extremely slow. I've had to cut things back. I've got some changes coming up that I've had to make even more changes. It's like you make a plan and the next day you got to rechange it. That's how fluid everything is right now. So I know I'm gonna I will have to get rid of a little blue too. But I was planning on buying another vehicle, but then I'm like, you know what? If I can get away, I got to work this out with my wife. But if I can get away with not buying another vehicle, I might just take the Pontiac, you know, which is the equivalent of the Toyota Matrix, and converting that into a mini camper. You saw me do a temporary version, you know, where it was like an emergency, where you had to do it in one day, and it had all the basics. You know, it had a bed, it had power system, the ability to recharge. But now I'm thinking, what if I parted out Little Blue, because there's like a lot of parts that are still good on here. Like I just got a brand new alternator just a month ago. So maybe recycle Little Blue's components. I don't even know if I can put the solar panel on the Vibe. It might be too big. So that would mean the Vibe would have to charge off the alternator system. But I got to work this out with my wife, and if she gives me the go ahead, then I'm going to convert that Vibe. But I'm not going to do permanent conversion. It's going to be like Timothy. I don't know if you guys have been following Timothy's series, where he built out his Sienna minivan into a camper. But he had a system that he made where he tried to make it so that you didn't really permanently do anything to your vehicle. You could like take it back apart and the vehicle goes back to like a regular vehicle. Barely noticeable that it was converted to become a live-in-able camper, stealth camper. So I may do that with the Vibe, the Pontiac Vibe. But I was going to do it in a unique way. So kind of unique. But I have to actually get access to the Vibe again and look again. Because the last time when I tried to build it out, I was like, dang, this thing is tiny. If you think a minivan is tiny, a Pontiac Vibe or a Toyota Matrix is like 3/4 that size or half that size. So it's even smaller. So I'm trying to figure out how I can do it so that there would be bedding for 2 adults, you know, if we decide to do it. Because the idea would be to travel across the United States and spend most of the time sleeping in the Vibe, occasionally getting a hotel room, and then just looking and doing things. That's assuming the Vibe is in good enough mechanical condition to make it across the United States. You know, because that's the other issue. That vehicle is also high miles. So a lot of stuff going through right now on this end that I can't handle. So my solution, that's my solution. And soda. Let me scroll through here. Yeah, Tim says, I think Tim is saying his video is attracting people, the one with the conversion. People are wanting to see that kind of stuff, Timothy. You could do more videos. You could do, maybe in the next video I'll show you guys is actually how much money I make and what videos people watch, just so you can see how the channel actually functions. A lot of people think that most of my money is made from the van videos. It's not. I barely get any views on the van videos. I get enough. It's like, what do they call it? Like your bread and butter, I guess, is your staple. I actually get more views on the generic stuff, like stuff that doesn't even work. Like some of my top videos are fixing the car, and the fix doesn't work. But it depends on how you look at it. Like, for example, the what was it? The head gasket leak. Okay, I think I spent $68 in Bar's head gasket leak and stuff. And I tried to fix the car using the head gasket leak fluid. And I spent like $68 because I did it like twice. It was like $30 each time or something. And and it failed, you know. And then people said I didn't do it correctly because my heater wasn't working and all sorts of other issues. But essentially, I spent about $70, $60, $70, and didn't get the vehicle fixed. And that might seem like a loss, but because this is a monetized YouTube channel, I made like close to $600. If you subtract my my $70 cost to produce that video, and I think I did it in like 15 to 20 minutes. I think that's how long the video was. So in about 15, 20 minutes and $70 in expenditure, I made a profit of more than $500. So, you know, did it work or it didn't work? Well, I didn't fix the car, but it worked to make money. So, you know, but maybe I'll talk about that. Now, some of you have your channels and they're starting to grow, which is good. What you want to do is analyze the kind of videos people are coming to, because that's what your channel is noted for. And if you capitalize on that and start doing more of those kind of videos, your viewership will go up. Your subscription will go up, and you will start to build up your audience base. Now, I've lost a lot of people over time because this channel originally started with a how-to, you know, because people will always... I'm gonna let you know the fact of the matter is, if you're trying to grow a YouTube channel, people don't come because they like you, although they might stay because they like you, okay? They come because they think they're gonna get something beneficial to them from visiting your channel and watching your videos. So, unless your channel is entertainment, and even then, you know, they're getting something beneficial. They're enjoying it. They're laughing. They're having a good time watching you. But for the most part, people are kind of self-centered in that sense, and that's okay. It's normal human nature. But looking at my numbers and, you know, analyzing, because I told you I'm trying to make the channel back to a viable commercial channel to make some money on it. I've been studying the videos, and basically videos where people think that something that you're presenting will help their situation, make their life better somehow, is what they go to. Now, if they like that video, they might hit a subscribe just to show you thanks, but they don't really come back. Those people they're just trying to boost your channel by giving it a subscription, but they might come in and check in every so often, but they don't really stay there. Then you have your loyal viewers. Your loyal viewers actually go out of their way to support you, and they, on my channel, probably about, I have about 12 to 15% loyal viewers. So the viewers that I consider loyal viewers are the ones that come here all the time. They basically come here just to cheer me on, to check up on me, make sure I'm okay. They try to help out. They try to watch the videos. They always click it. They, you know, the like button, they comment on it. They try to boost it up. And they try to encourage me when I'm down. You know, they start to become more like friends, because they don't just see this as a channel that's going to benefit them. Okay, they start to view this channel as, hey, you know what? I like Denoy. You know, Denoy is somebody I care about. So they come back and they check up on me. A lot of these people, not all of them, but a lot of them tend to be older than me. They tend to be people with a little bit more wisdom in their life. And they come here and they kind of almost like I would say like a big sister or big brother, kind of keeping an eye out on me. So, you know, I feel honored that I have people like that do come to this channel just to make sure I'm okay. And some people come here just because they enjoy my spiel. They enjoy these talk sessions, which, you know, don't really do much, but give you food for thought. Just scrolling through here. Tim says, YouTube is watching you, Denoy. They definitely are. They're doing weird stuff to me. I'm just scrolling through here. So Timothy Sienna is dying. So Timothy, I haven't been following you, obviously. I've been kind of overwhelmed on this end with all my crap. I haven't been broadcasting a lot of the repairs and things that I keep saying I'm going to do. And like I said, I've been fighting depression because I don't think I'm the only one. I think everyone in the world right now, regardless of where you are, has to do their best to fight what's happening. Because what's happening is just overwhelming. It's overwhelming the governments. It's overwhelming people. So, you know, my advice is what I'm trying to do, and I don't know how well it's going to work other than that, you know, I'm doing it, which is I try to cheer myself up what little ways I can. I am going to try to keep moving forward, and after getting off this video, I might go to work on the RV a little bit more to clean it up so that I can show off the RV and show how nice it looks. I'm trying to force myself, okay, to do stuff that I know is productive even though I don't feel like it. Because I know why I don't feel like it. I'm depressed. There's a lot more going on in my personal life than you guys are seeing on YouTube that is like way beyond my control. And I almost feel hopeless. And I'm fighting that because once you get to that hopelessness state, which I am sort of kind of in, like sometimes I come home and after I do these broadcasts, I actually go inside the RV and I sleep. And I sleep, and then I eat, and then I sleep. If you haven't figured out what that is, that's called depression. And I know it's depression. So I try not to, I'm trying to break the cycle. I'm trying to, you know, like when I see my kids on the weekend, we try to go somewhere fun. We try to do something different. We try to go to the parks. We try to, one of the things that believe it or not, for me, is therapy. And some of you may be finding it as you have your own channel, even if you aren't monetized yet. Having the ability to talk, you know, to just freely speak on your channel. And if you have people on there that are loyal subscribers that keep coming back, those people actually can help you. They just, it's like you don't feel so alone. You know, one of the most depressing things in life, or I guess in anything, is feeling like nobody gives a hoot and you're by yourself. But if you have the ability, are fortunate enough to have the ability to broadcast and have some people, even if it's not a lot, as long as they're not, you know, evil people, which they are, just block those people and ignore them, because those people are sad. That's all I can say, okay? Their lives must be so unfulfilled, so sad, that all they can do is lash out and try to hurt other people. So ignore those people, because they evidently don't understand that, you know, karma is what they're putting out, and it's coming back to them. And the negative energy that they put out, it's going to come back like 10-fold or 100-fold. So try to put up positive things like that, and you tend to attract more people. But also, these people give you their energy. It's kind of weird, because I feel like I get the energy off my viewers, and they help me to keep going. So like right now when I get off, more than likely I will go try to do some work on the RV, just because I told you guys I would. It's like you're holding me accountable. Gaming Lex says, why don't I try to focus on how-to videos? How-to videos actually do well if you have a good following, and I will be doing some of those. As I told you, I'm trying to do, as I shift the channel, you know, it'll move away from the vlogs and move more to how-to. But right now, everything's kind of in limbo. If I go to Thailand, I already know who I want to hook up with. There's this old man, something, I forget. He was on Mark Williams' channel. He's like a survivalist, and he has a little house farm thingy that people can go and learn how to survive at his place. But I'm thinking maybe I'll hook up with him and partner up with him, so you can see me and him doing some stuff, or you might see me doing it by myself. You know, that might be the easiest, is for me to do it and teach my wife how to film, because it's easier if you have a camera person, you know. And then I don't know if I'm going to edit it or edit it in camera. The better your editing and stuff, the more time you put it into pre and post production, the better your videos can grow, your channel. So that's a consideration to make, but also it means it requires a lot more scripting. You know, this channel mostly has been just, here it is, good or bad. But, you know, if I'm trying to be commercialized and make some money, then I really need to analyze those numbers, look and see what people are watching on this channel. That'll tell me my base viewers, you know, what's bringing people to this channel. And then either doing more of those videos or actually looking at the numbers and saying, you know what, this isn't working because it's not commercially viable. That means I've got to look at the channels that are popular and then try to emulate or stand out. And it turns out that a lot of the channels that are popular are actually unique channels, but they get copycat channels, and even the copycat channels do well. So, you know, that's what you have to do. I haven't been doing that because this channel was never really about making money, although, you know, it became a source of money, and right now it is a big source of money because it may help me with my retirement. But I'll start to produce that kind of stuff, and I might even use some of my own tools, like my TV production. I know some people think they think that I don't have any video skills and all that. It's because I haven't used it, you know, and I don't care to, because I pick up a camera here and I make money and it's just good enough, okay? And you're like, well, why only good enough when you could do it for a living? Well, it has to do with time and other issues going on. But as I hit retirement, I'm going to have a thing called time on my hands. I'm going to have the ability to sit there and actually work on projects. So instead of making like 2 or 3 videos a day, I can end up making 1 video a week or 2 videos a week, like a normal YouTuber would. And the quality should be much better. It might be edited with music and all that, a little bit more polished. But at the same time, I don't want to abandon my loyal viewers. You know, these are the people who, I still remember the people that came with me from living in a van, okay? There was about 200 or 300 of those people. And I think most of those are still my core viewers. They don't really see the YouTube channel as being a YouTube channel. They're here because they wanted to support Denoy. And they came from there. So they've been with me like 3 or 4 years now. And I don't want to abandon those people because, to me, you know, they're more than just viewers, okay? They're I would say almost like family. Angel Martinez wants to know, how are the WoW characters? You know, I just, interesting thing about playing WoW on a private server, I was on there, I've been playing WoW a lot, which is bad, but that's one of the depression things, but it's one of the anti-depressing things. Some people could say, Denoy, you're spending too much time on WoW, and I would tell you, you are absolutely 100% correct. But I'm doing it because I'm overwhelmed with the realities of what's happening with COVID-19, what's happening with my personal life, and all the issues I'm having to deal with the government. It's overwhelming because they can't do stuff, I can't do stuff, and it's limbo, okay? So anyhow, I was on WoW last night, and I don't know if I told you guys, I normally don't level because I don't like to level. I only level a character to help protect the younger characters. But basically, my character is considered maximum level at level 6 out of 80. So you can go up to 80, but I'll take my character up to level 6, and that's like the maximum level that I'll level it to. You're like, why so low? So low because I can easily go to PvP in the start zone for the other faction, even though it's hard to get there, but I'm an experienced player. So I can get over there, and I can do PvP, and it doesn't cost too much. I have my characters twinked out. So, like, one character of mine can fight upwards of 8 or 10 enemies at the same time. And people don't believe it until they watch me and they go, holy schmoly, he just killed all of them. It's like a level 6 killing them all. So then they bring on their skull and crossbone levels, you know, characters that are way higher than my level. But then I've also developed some higher level characters, like a level 20, a level 30, a level 60, a level 80, or whatever, to fight the higher levels as they go up. But last night was kind of interesting because I was just messing around on there, and this one guy I kept killing. He was a blood elf, and I was killing him with my night elf characters. He leveled up to level 6 and ran over to Silver Moon City because he was a blood elf. And see, I play both sides because I actually attack both sides. I don't really have a loyalty to either side. I have Alliance level 6s, and I have Horde level 6s that are across the world on the opposite faction. Like I have them in Northshire, I have them on the Janai Islands, I have them everywhere, okay? I have them everywhere that noobs roll a new character, other than places that nobody plays, because they just sit there and nobody's fighting. But anyhow, the guy got killed a whole bunch of times by me, And he ran up, and then in Silver Moon City, he went by the auction house, and I had a blood elf there that was running the auction house. Because, you know, it's, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, auction house on WoW is like eBay, okay? It's like eBay, but with game currency and game stuff that you can sell. So I run a character there that makes some money, and that's how I make money. Like, I do okay. I'm not like rich because I don't just sit there and make money. I don't care. My philosophy in the game is just like real life, good enough. It just needs to be good enough for me to buy the enchantments that I need for my characters, so that even though they're level 6, they're more like a level 10 or 12. You know, they're like actually gimped out. They have nice stuff. They have like lots of life, and they can do a lot of damage, magical weapons and things like that. They've been enchanted. So he whispered me, and he says, what does it mean when you get double rest experience? And I'm like, okay, so this is somebody totally new, so I'm going to try to help him out. And I explained to him, you know, that double rest meant that you level twice as fast, and you get double rest from parking your character in an inn or in a major city. So he was like, oh man, he'd been playing for 4 years and he didn't know that. I'm like, dude, you've been playing 4 years and you don't know the basics of how the system works? So I started trying to teach him and stuff. And I ended up revealing, which I normally don't do, I ended up revealing to him, you know, I said, were you getting killed by a bunch of humans and night elves and stuff just a short while ago? And he said, yeah, a rogue, a hunter, and a paladin. Those were all my characters, all level 6s. Killed them over and over and over and over. I said, yeah, well, that was me. And he was like, oh, that was you? And I said, yeah, that was me. And I said, look, I hate, you know, he told me about the games. He wanted to ask more about the games and stuff. So I said to him, I normally don't level because I go up to level 6. It takes time to do this, but once I do it, I can park my character and I can go play for 5 or 10 minutes. Then I'm done for the day. Because World of Warcraft can be addictive. You know, it's a world that doesn't have COVID-19, at least not right now. And it's a fantasy world, so you only have to deal with fantasy stuff, and there's certain rules about those fantasy things. So once you know those rules, you don't have any weird stuff like viruses, although there was a virus that hit the game world of World of Warcraft in the ancient days, classic WoW. But normally you don't have weird stuff like that affects everybody. So it's a controlled environment, okay? I know that when I go to attack the humans, it's going to be a certain way. When I go to attack the night elves, it's going to be a certain way. Like, you bring your low ones, you beat them all up. They call their 80s to come fight your level 6s. Then you log off. And the level 80s ride around all frustrated because they can't find the level 6. Or they get beaten by the level 6. Like, a whole bunch of them will get killed by me. And they go, we're going to log on our higher levels. And they bring on like a level 30 to fight my level 6, which would not be fair. But their level 30 shows up, and it turns out I have a level 76 parked out there also. So they bring their level 30 or whatever, and then they flag or whatever because they're like not afraid of my level 6, and then my level 70 comes out and one shot kills them. So I do that. I basically, I'm not very nice on World of Warcraft. I'm what you call a griefer. I'm a PKer. I am a psychopath on the game. I kill everybody. So, you know, it's like, hi, how you doing? You know, that's how I am in the game. So that's how that is. But anyhow, what was interesting about this guy, it turns out he says, where are you from? And I didn't want to give him too much personal information, you know, but then he's like, where do you think I'm from? And I said, well, most of the people here are probably from Poland. So I'm playing with a lot of foreigners. Okay, mostly Polish, some Americans, and some Spaniards. So I'm playing with people around the world. And then he said, no, I'm not any of those. And he said he was from Algeria. So I'm like, okay, Algeria. So I had to look up Algeria to see how the people in Algeria were. Okay, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But anyhow, I took him over. I decided to take him over to the, we were blood elves. I decided to take him over to the night elf, Tedgersel, which is the world tree where the night elves live. So we made that long journey, and I had to supply him and show him tips on how to survive. But he knew PvP stuff because he was buying all the gear and stuff. So his 4 years, he didn't know how to play. He just didn't know what double rest was. But we get over there at level 6, and we start fighting, you know. And then, of course, the humans bring on their higher level. I look at their life, and I see their higher level isn't too high. Like they had a mage that was killing him. The mage had 600 life. So I was like, okay, that mage is probably level 20 or so. So I logged on my Shrek, because I'm Shrek on there, by the way. I got a whole bunch of Shreks. You know, Shrek, the green guy with donkey, the pet. That's me. So anyhow, I decided to log on my level 20, and I see he's a level 24. So he's higher level than me and hard to kill. But I killed the mage, and I kept corpse camping him, killing him over and over and over, even though he's higher level than me. And the reason I did that was he was fighting as a level 24. He was killing my new friend who was only a level 6, which isn't really fair. So, and I was lower level than him. I was only level 20, killing a 24. So then they brought on another level, another guy that you call skull and crossbone level, or question mark, you don't know what level they are. So Shrek was 20, and the guy was skull and crossbone to Shrek, which of course meant he could like one shot and kill me, because, you know, I'm like really low. But I looked at his life, and it was like about 900 and something, or 1,000. So I'm like, well, he's skull and crossbone, so he's at least 30 something, 30 or more, and Shrek's 20. But I decided to take him on, and Shrek let him out, you know, because when you're older, because most of these are kids, they're like 20-something year olds, and they think they can do everything. But us older folks, you know, we have a thing called strategy. So I took him out through the mountains and stuff, and then I turned around and I sent donkey at him, and I killed him right in front of that kid from Algeria. Is like 21 years old. He's like, "Holy schmoly, how did you do that?" I'm like, "Look, I might be an old grandpa, you know, but I do have some tricks." But I ended up killing the skull and crossbone level who was chasing me, even though he was more than 10 levels higher than me. And I know that must have been embarrassing for him, but that's what my character's doing. Maybe one day, if I can, I'll live stream and you can watch the action and see what I'm talking about. But typically, it's 1 against 10. It'll be me against all of them, and I'll kill all of them. And you're like, how do you do that? I've been playing for about 20 years. I've been playing since the game came out, okay? That's how I do it. But they'll bring on their high levels, and then it's a game of cat and mouse. Let's see. Miss MJ says, what do you think about stockpiling? I don't really think you should stockpile, but you should make sure if you're talking about supplies because of COVID stuff, honestly, the way things are going in America right now, I don't see supplies running out. Although I noticed the toilet papers and paper towels are starting to run low. So some people are stockpiling. But part of it has to do with me being in Florida, and we had the nasty hurricane weather come through. So people normally empty the shelves anyways of water, sodas, chips, you know, foods that can be eaten in an emergency situation Florida always goes through this during hurricane season. So I don't know if it's COVID related or hurricane related. Remember, I tried to do the live stream from Walmart, and all the batteries and battery packs and stuff were gone because the people here know this stuff. It's like a regular occurrence, and then they always buy all this stuff up. So I wouldn't stockpile. As a matter of fact, I got to eat all the food I stored here because I thought when they were shutting everything down, they were going to keep it shut down. But Florida has evidently is pretending nothing's going on, and just because they're pretending nothing's going on, suddenly everything's available again, which makes no sense to me. But everything magically came back. Like money suddenly became available again. They will now take bills, and they have change. Magically, they got change now. So I don't know how it happened, but toilet paper's easily grabbed. So I would grab, if I was stockpiling, I would only stockpile for probably about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month at the most, no more than that. The reason being, let's suppose you tried to stockpile for 3 months. Well, then what are you going to do? After 3 months, you're going to starve and die anyways. 3 months, you're going to live an extra 2 months longer. You know, if you really want to know how to do this stuff, you want to be self-sufficient and grow your own food and all that. But if you're going to stockpile, the stockpile is supposed to just get you over a crisis that's happening long enough for it to restore itself. And if the country is truly falling apart, your stockpile is not going to last. And if you have a nice house with a good stockpile, like a couple years worth of food, what are you going to do after the couple years? You still rely on the system. But not only that, if people know that you have a stockpile, they come to attack you to take your stuff. So for me, the stockpile isn't so much a permanent type long-term thing. It's more of I don't want to go shopping for 3 weeks. So if you see me stockpiling, like I bought, this is the kind of stuff I'm buying. A whole bunch of these, okay? It's so I don't have to go back to Walmart for 2 or 3 weeks. And it's not because of stockpiling, it's more because those people are still wearing the mask like this, or on their head, or on their chin. So I don't want to be around them, I don't want to be out there. I don't want to potentially expose me to them or them to me. So the more I can stay in the RV, the more I can go to, thankfully the beaches are open and stuff, so I can go to the beach maybe, as long as they're not crowded, and the parks. So I try to go to places where it's mostly open space, and if there are people around, we're not all like cramped together. We're all kind of spread out. So the food and supplies and stuff that if you want to call it stockpile, isn't really a stockpile. It's more of a 2 or 3 weeks worth of supplies, so that I don't have to go shopping. And if they end up shutting things down, then you know what, I'm screwed. But even if I had 4 or 5 weeks worth of food, I'd still be screwed, The Angel says he definitely watched a live stream. Yeah, me and the Algerian kid were laughing because he says, how did you do that? What it was donkey. Shrek's not too strong, but donkey, oh man, donkey kicks ass. So, but basically, Shrek had been at level 19. He was twinked out for Warsong Gulch, the PvP arena, a battle zone of Warsong Gulch. So Shrek had really nice gear as a level 19. Then I decided I was going to level Shrek up to, 80, but I've decided not to. But I took him up to 20 so he could at least get a mount, and he could leave the battlegrounds and ride around and protect the level 6 Shrek. So Shrek is like a level 20 protecting a level 6 as needed. But Shrek can kill, we know now, at least a level 30. Kira King says to stockpile seeds. Yeah, really, but it's not just stockpiling. It's like, if you stockpile seeds and you don't know how to grow them and you don't have the room and you don't know how to do stuff. What I suggest, and it's been like that all along, those of you who have followed the Living in a Van, not YouTube, the Living in a Van Facebook group, was always about survival, being self-sufficient, learning how to do things in a cheap way, growing your own food, building houses out of pallet, recycling materials, repurposing things, building houses from thrown away goods, that kind of stuff. Basically knowing how to survive with what you have or with very limited resources. And if you can grow your own food, the more that you can grow, the better. If you know how to forage and what wild plants and animals and stuff are edible, then you're golden. But the question I have to ask, and this is one that a lot of people don't think about, honestly, okay? Some people collect all this stuff because they want to survive. Their goal in life is to survive at all costs. They'll even kill somebody to survive, okay? And you're like, but isn't that how everyone is? Maybe not, okay? And I'm going to tell you what my goal is. My goal is to live my life as I believe. And I will try to survive somewhat, but not at the extent of killing other people for my survival or taking advantage of them. Okay, I won't do that. And if the world truly was about to end, and if we are indeed in biblical times, it's over. I would rather be one of the ones that go first. Whether I go to heaven or not, I don't want to sit around to the end, because there's going to be a lot of suffrage towards the end. And then what are you surviving for? It's like, if you have to do all these bad things and barely make it just to stay alive, you're staying alive to prolong the inevitable, because the inevitable is we all die. You know, if I knew that something bad was going to happen, I wouldn't run around screaming, "Oh, we're going to die, we're going to die." I wouldn't do that. I would go look at the sunrise, enjoy the dolphins, and live my life like normal. And, you know, if the meteor or whatever hits, that was destiny, that was fate. So, survival for me isn't about just staying alive to be alive, but more about living life the way you want to live it. So if I'm trying to be self-sufficient, if I'm trying to be simplistic and stuff, it's not so much a survival skill as the kind of life I want to live, a simple life. And, you know, the good thing is if you can live a simple life, it helps you with survival. But more important than helping you with survival, it helps you with being happy with your life. Because if you don't have a happy life, what are you living for? Think about that. An old lady says it would be fun to stealth plant crops like potatoes, carrots, chard. I don't know what chard is. Underground crops and things less recognizable to typical grocery shoppers, randomly scattered near streams. That's an option to do. I think that for something like that, it should be a movement by the people. If you can plant foods all over the place, it is just setting up for survival of the human species. Think about it. In Thailand, a lot of plants and stuff can be eaten, and you can just walk out into the woods and grab stuff. I want to go meet that man in Thailand because I want to study from him and see what plants are safe and what aren't. You know, and then I'll share with it on YouTube and stuff. But I want to be able to just pick stuff. See, this to me is doable. Let's say I live in a hut in the woods in Thailand. Okay, I'll grow some foods. You know, things that I like growing, like peppers and certain things that I know I can grow. But I would like to be able to go to the jungle and just forage. I don't want to be a farmer. I don't want to grow fields of food. I want to go into the wilds and just grab what's there, you know, that's edible, and then bring it home and cook it. So there's a lot of edible foods from Thailand that are like wild, you know, like greens. So learning them, and they're like that in America too, you know. So if you learn them, you can do that. Now, those of you who watched my my channel when I was out in the compound, I planted a bunch of stuff. I don't know if they're alive because I didn't go back to check on them, but I did try to grow stuff like papaya and other things like that. So I tried to grow a banana until somebody told me bananas don't grow from bananas. The little seeds in the bananas won't really germinate. They won't really grow. So I don't know. I did try to throw peppers and different things that I ate out there. And I planted some physically where I went and dug holes. And then some I just tossed out hoping that they would grow. And, you know, the thing is, if they bulldoze the place, then all that growth was destroyed. But until they bulldoze it, somebody who's wandering around out there could end up stumbling upon a banana plant or an orange tree or an apple tree or something like that. And I really think that if groups of people, maybe all the van dwellers started doing that, just throwing down seeds everywhere, like watermelon seeds. But see, watermelon would require lots of water. So you have to kind of know the environment, because if you're putting watermelon seeds in the desert, the chance of success is really low. But if you're planting cactus and stuff that can be edible, you know, certain parts that are edible, then it will help. I think it will help with anybody who happens to be out there and needs food and recognizes that food, you know, the food source or water source or whatever. So if people did that, in the event of a world, I guess, like chaos where society has fallen apart, at least the wild would have a lot of edible foods, but it would only be known by people who actually, you know, studied that stuff and know that stuff. An old lady says, you'd be surprised to know how few would recognize a carrot or rutabaga growing if it's not planted in a farmer's field in tidy rows. And an old lady, I'd be one of those people. That's the thing, you'd have to know what to look for. Kira says she stealth plants everywhere along the roadside. See, if people would do that, And then people take the time to learn what's edible and what's not. The problem you have, though, is there are some plants that look similar to edible stuff, but they're not edible. You really have to become a specialist. And I think if you want to, be self-sufficient, that is one of the things you should learn is plants. You should take the time to try to learn what plants are edible, what's not, which ones can be used for medicine. Because all the stuff that we have now, even though like people are thinking that it's going to exist forever, I don't know if you just saw in the last couple months, it turns out that all this high tech and all this stuff that we have may not really help much. Kira says it's like that in New Zealand. Food is everywhere if you know where to look and what to eat. And I think it's like that in Asia. In America, they tend to not like that. They don't like to have people plant stuff. But I think people should. I don't know if they have city ordinances and laws against that, but I know that when I was living at Walter's house, I was walking down the street and this house had mangoes all over the place and they were falling and they were just rotting on the ground. Mangoes. So I went up and knocked on the door and asked the owner, hey, do you mind if I grab some mangoes? He said, sure, go ahead. So, if people would just do that, just grow bananas. Well, bananas are limited. It depends. Papaya grows easily. It depends on your area, but this area is a tropical forest area. So we can grow things like papaya, bananas, mangoes, maybe apples, oranges, lemon. Surprisingly, I see very few coconuts around here, which is weird for me. We see palm trees and stuff, but not many coconut trees. Even on the beach. Sometimes I see coconuts wash up on the beach. But I'm really shocked there aren't more coconuts around here in Florida. Because Thailand is similar to Florida. And most of our trees are like coconut trees or have some kind of fruit. The ones here, they seem to be just for looks. They don't seem to produce anything. An old lady says it was her that told me to forget about the bananas. They grow from side shoots, not from the seeds. See, an old lady would be one of those people that you want to look up to. I know some of you don't understand what I'm saying. There's a lot of people on this channel that I like when they comment and stuff because they share with us their knowledge. And an old lady knows stuff like what grows and how it grows. Like she was saying about the bananas won't grow from seeds. To grow a new banana, you have to cut the shoot, the offshoot from the bottom, and then take that and plant it somewhere. So, knowing that kind of stuff, that's not just random information. That's information that can save your life. Because bananas are one of nature's most perfect foods. It's a superfood. Bananas can do a lot, have all sorts of nutrients and stuff in there and can help with a lot of issues that people have health-wise. And bananas don't, if you're in Florida, it doesn't require much. You just grow it somewhere where the ground's fertile and it rains a lot. It kind of grows itself and it grows really fast. Same with papaya. And papaya can be eaten as a main dish, or it could be left to ripen and become a dessert because it becomes kind of sweet when it ripes. When it's not ripened, the Thai people will eat it in a, I've shown it before, but maybe I'll show some of those dishes. I want to really go to Thailand and let the Thai people, the Thai street chefs show you guys, and then you'll get some ideas. Because, they make everything fresh there because I don't think there's a Walmart there. It's going to be, for me, it's going to be quite a learning curve because I have to go back to being 7 years old again. And from what I could tell when I was watching Mark Weem's videos, Thailand hasn't changed too much. Although there's like super malls that are giant mega malls, in my old village. But for the most part, the little street vendors and stuff like are still the same. And like shopping is still like similar to going to the flea market here in the United States. So that's from what I saw watching Mark Weems, as well as some of the other people who live in Thailand and do vlogs and stuff from there. So I've been watching a lot of those videos, trying to listen to the Thai, trying to get my ears, back into hearing Thai and processing Thai. I've decided, we didn't get enough likes on that video, so I'm just going to proceed on my own. But I've decided I'm going to try to record or download some of the videos and stuff for, that they use to sing the Thai alphabet. And I'm going to keep playing them over and over. And when I can, I'm going to watch them on TV to learn how the letters are and the words, to start doing sight words. So that when I get to Thailand, I won't be illiterate. That's the biggest thing I don't want to be, is illiterate. Because if you're illiterate, You could be walking by a plant and it says, warning, poisonous, don't eat. I go, oh, that looks like an interesting berry. You know? So it's very important that you be able to read regardless of what country you live in, and that you learn that language so that you can function. So I think maybe some people here are getting ideas, and maybe we'll start that, you know? Take all those seeds that they're sending from China right now and start planting them. Wouldn't that be something? I better not say that. The government might crack down on me. They're telling you, don't do that, don't do that. Don't plant those plants. So they're telling the citizens not to plant those seeds from China that apparently are being randomly sent to Americans. But they're planting them, the government is planting them to see what's growing out of them, but they're telling citizens not to plant them. So I don't know what the full story is on that, but I don't think I trust the Chinese, even though I'm like partially Chinese. So I would trust our government when they say don't plant them. Don't plant the seeds. If you're going to plant it, well, I'm not going to tell you that, because I'm telling you to break the rule that the FDA or whatever is sending out, the agricultural department or whatever. They're saying don't plant them, that you're supposed to contact them, and then they'll take the seeds from you. Honestly, I don't know what's in those seeds. They could be genetically modified. The Chinese have the technology, so I don't know. Or the Chinese could be doing like Shrek does, messing with your brain. Because I do that with the players on WoW, you know. One of the things that allow you to beat people sometimes when you don't have the like when I play WoW, you know, the battles, it's reflex. You got to have real good reflex. The kids can press like a gazillion keys. My son was laughing at me because when I maneuver, I use the keyboard and the mouse in two separate hands. And then when I want to jump, I have to take my hand off the mouse and hit the keyboard. And he was looking, he says, you actually play like that, Dad? I said, yeah, that's why my character will run and look like he's doing really good and then pause and then hop. It's because there's an old man at the other end of the keyboard, and even though he's kicking butt, he fights kind of weird. He fights like an old man running and doing really great battle, and then suddenly he has Alzheimer's or something. So he'll stop, then he'll keep going. But that's how I play, and it's because I'm an old man. And I'm willing to admit I'm an old man. All right, Callie Venture, good to see you on here. And Sadie Sickler is correct. You do not want to be illiterate. You know, tomatoes, I think, are easy to grow, too. You guys are giving me some ideas on stuff to try to stealth plant. And I'm not going to say to stealth plant, because that might be against the city ordinances and stuff. But what I'm saying is maybe if you have a picnic somewhere, like even at this campground, out of the campground will come around and cut down stuff. But maybe if I grow it around the trees. But what I was thinking is, what if I were to sit down and eat a picnic, and I made a hamburger or a salad, and I had some tomatoes that happened to have seeds in them, and I didn't feel like eating it, and I dropped it on the ground in a little hidden spot by water. I didn't plant it, I just dropped it. So, you know, they can't get me with stealth planting. I just sort of dropped it. But I think that if enough of us do this, and, you know, we all study what food looks like in the wild when it grows, not from a farm or sitting there on a vegetable stand. Fruits and vegetables, some of them will grow. And if you study a little bit what grows in your area, you might be able to basically feed the world. And when I say feed the world, I mean feed the people around there, including yourself. Because this is something you wouldn't be doing for yourself. You might be doing it for yourself if you go back in the same spot. But you'd be doing it for anyone that happens to pass through, and you're counting on other people hopefully doing the same thing. And I think that if all of us were to do that from this channel, as well as spread the word and other channels started doing it, we might be preparing ourselves for if, you know, God forbid, the United States and other places just fell apart and countries can't function anymore. I don't think we're going to get to that level. And even if we didn't get to that level, it would still be nice to go for a walk through the woods and then see an apple tree and pull out an apple or pick up a banana or, you know, tomatoes and stuff. And if you don't eat it, the wild animals will actually have a lot of food to eat, you know, so the animals will eat it too. and you're feeding the animals, but you're also producing plants that can clean the air. So I don't really see a downside to it, other than supermarkets and stuff might get angry, the farms and stuff like that, as people can just grab stuff off the street or in the woods or on a trail or whatever. And but most of the people who would be doing that wouldn't be the normal people who shop in the grocery store anyways. It'd be people like us, the people on this channel and other channels who want to be somewhat self-sufficient, and maybe one of the people contributing to this free food, if you want to call it that. Just scrolling through here. An old lady says, stay away from wild mushrooms. That's one of the things I really love is mushrooms. And what do they call them? What do they call morsels is what they call some of those things. I want to become a specialist on it, but I can tell you a really scary story. Mushrooms to me are one of the best foods in the world. And maybe I'll show you how you can plant them yourself, so that off existing mushrooms, so that you know what they are, so you don't poison yourself. That might be the safest things to do with mushrooms, is grow your own. Mushrooms are a fungus. But when we were in Germany, because my dad was in the military and my family moved all over the world, we lived in Germany, and my mom met some Thai people there that like to go, I don't know what they call it, but they go picking up wild mushrooms in the forest, in the German forest. So they would leave like at night or something like that and go looking for mushrooms. I don't know why they do it at night, or maybe during the daytime, I don't know. But they would go out to the actual forest, the German forest, and scavenge for wild mushrooms. And I kid you not, my mom found this mushroom that was flat and red. It was like a little bit skinnier than the width of your hand here, but it was flat. It wasn't like mushrooms kind of spongy. This mushroom looked like almost like a cactus leaf, okay, but it was like long and flat, and I don't know if it grew on a rock like that. But my mom had that, and she brought it home, and she said, she asked me if I wanted to try that mushroom or whatever it was, that lichen or whatever it was that she grabbed. And I said I would try a little bit. So my mom cooked it up. She boiled it up and fried it, okay? Didn't put too much seasoning on it. And she gave me a little tiny slice, like the equivalent of like my finger right here, just a little stick of it, like a little cut. And I kid you not, when I bit into that thing, and I'm having a hard time right now, it was the best tasting thing I ever ate in the whole world. It had a texture like meat and tasted like the super expensive steak or meat or whatever it was. I'm salivating thinking about it. It was the absolute bestest tasting thing I ever ate in the entire world, in my entire life. And I had it when I was 16 years old, 17 years old. And I still remember, I can't remember the exact taste, but thinking about it, I'm like salivating, and I'm wishing I had it again, but I know I would not eat it again because of what happened next. But I bit into that, chewed it, and I was like, holy schmoly, this is really good. And my mom was like, yeah, isn't it good? And she ate a whole bunch of it. And she ate more than me. She ate like a handful of it, okay? And that wouldn't seem like much of a story until that night. Oh man, my fan came loose. Oh yeah, I unplugged it. So anyhow, that night, my mother, well, first off, I had this weird cocky feeling down my throat. It was like an itchy, scratchy feeling. And then my stomach started hurting a little bit. Okay, so I had an upset tummy. And remember, I only ate that one thing about the size of a finger. Okay. My mom, on the other hand, ate a chunk about the size of a hand. She started hurting inside, internally, and then got up in the middle of the night and was throwing up blood. Blood was just coming, gushing out of her. And she thought she was going to die. Her eyes were like red, and she had tears, and she was sweating profusely and coughing and dying. Now, she made it through the night, you know, but was really weak the next day. I'm surprised we didn't go to the hospital. I know we were in Germany, so maybe that's why my dad didn't take her to the hospital, but I don't know, or the clinic. But yeah, she survived the next day. I was like, could have lost my mom. But yeah, she threw the rest of it away. But from that point on, she never went out to get wild mushrooms. So I'm very cautious with picking up wild mushrooms, and sometimes I hear stories about young people going out grabbing mushrooms because they're so good. If you love mushrooms, oh my God, they're so good. The problem with it is if you pick the wrong one, that could be your last meal. So I'm a little bit nervous, but like even when I describe that taste, it's like I salivate even knowing that it could kill you. Just scrolling through. Okay. Anyhow, I am going to go ahead and sign out. Consider having picnics and stuff like that and leaving a little bit of seeds and foods out wherever you are that you didn't grow, but they might have just accidentally dropped to the ground and got a little bit buried where they could grow. And maybe one day when we all drive around, we're going to see fresh tomatoes at all these campgrounds and stuff that I go to. If the compound doesn't get bulldozed, maybe there may be papaya plants. Maybe I'll go back there and see if there are. You know, it's been long enough that there could be papaya plants where I planted some. So I might go take a look and see if there are papayas. And if there are, then we're going to do a Cooking with Denoy episode where I grab one of the papayas from one of the plants that I grew out there. So I'll make another trip out there and take a look. So until next time, everyone, take care. God bless you all. Please stay safe. And remember, this might not be the best food, but if it helps carry you through that day, as long as you're not doing too much of it, it may be okay. Forgive yourself and enjoy your chips. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye now.